Welcome students to Dr. B.R. Ambedkar Open University. Today we are going to discuss a very important topic, that is time value of money. You must have studied in the earlier topics, that is in the introduction to financial management. One of the drawback of profit maximization objective was it doesn't consider time value of money. So that is, time is whatever the profits we earn over a period of time, they doesn't have the same value. So we have to understand what is this time value of money. So the drawback of profit maximization, that is the time value of money which is not considered under profit maximization objective, has been overcome under the second objective, that is under the shareholders wealth maximization objective, where it considers time value of money. So we have to understand what is this time value of money, how to measure this time value of money, what are the techniques which we are going to use. So we will try to understand in detail what is this time value of money. So before going in for what are the techniques, what is the time value of money. So basically, what is money? So you all must be knowing what is money. So to give a small example or a small explanation about what is money. So money is something generally accepted as a medium of exchange, measure of value, or a means for making the payment. So it is a medium of exchange. So money is the medium of exchange, it is the mode of payment, and it is also a measure of value. So money is used to buy goods and services. So time is money. So whatever the money we spend today or whatever the money we receive today is of more value when compared to whatever the money we receive in future periods of time, because time is very essential and the value of money doesn't remain constant. So the money which we receive earlier is better than the money received in the forthcoming periods of time. So time value of money is the rupee which is receivable today, what we are going to receive today is more value than a rupee receivable in future. So whatever the rupee we are holding today is of more value when compared to a same rupee which we are going to hold for the future periods of time. That is, today's money is more valuable than future money. So this time value of money is the idea that money available at the present time, that is in the current periods, is worth more than the same amount of money in the future due to its potential earning capacity. So present opportunities are more. So the money, if you are investing at today's potential opportunities, that will give you more value rather than comparing or rather than receiving the same amount of money in future periods of time. So this time value of money is a very important concept in the financial management. So all the decisions, all the different types of financial management decisions are based on this time value of money. So that's a very important concept in financial management. It can also be used to compare various investment alternatives. So time value of money is used to compare investment alternatives and also to solve different types of problems or issues pertaining to raising of loans, taking the assets on lease basis, or making the investments, or doing the investments in certain savings. All such type of decisions are again governed by this time value of money. So that is the reason why time value of money is a very important concept which every firm has to understand, and it is going to have a very important bearing on various types of decisions, that financial decisions. The time value of money, that is to understand the simple concept of time value of money, is that the value of the money received today is worth more than the value of the same amount of money received after a certain period of time, maybe after 1 year or after 2 years. The sooner one receives money, the better it is. So the money which is received now has more worth or has more value when compared to the money which is received after 1 year or 2 years. To give an example, if an individual is given an option or if he is given a choice to receive either 10,000 rupees today or after 1 year, then he will prefer to receive money now itself only. That is, he will be willing to take 10,000 now. Why? because this is because the value of the current receipt of money is higher than the future receipt of money after 1 year. Though the money may be the same 10,000 rupees now or after, but the value of the money will decline after 1 year. So the value of money, the present value of money is worth more than the future value of money received after 1 year. So this phenomena is referred to as time preference for money, or simply it is called as time value for money. So this is the meaning of time value of money. So it is also called as time preference for money. So the preference is given to time, and accordingly we are encouraging receiving the money today rather than receiving it after a year or after a future periods, after receiving in the future periods of time. What is the rationale for time preference of money? So what is the motive? What is the rationale? So what is the scientific rationale of time preference for money? Why we give so much of preference of receiving money today rather than receiving it in the future? So the rationale behind the time preference for money is, first one is, now future is full of risk and uncertainty. So nobody can predict what is going to happen in future. So whatever the money we invest in future, so if we expect some return on that, so we doesn't know what is going to happen with that money, because there is an element of risk associated and there is a lot of uncertainty, and we cannot predict the things with accuracy. So because of that is also one rationale why we prefer money now rather than receiving in future. Then the second reason is inflation. Inflationary conditions, because the situation prevalent in the economy is inflationary conditions. So if we are, for example, if you are purchasing an item for 100 rupees today, so maybe after 1 year we have to spend 110 rupees to get the same item after 1 year. So this is because of inflation. So it is better that we purchase it now itself, that is we give preference to the money now itself rather than for future. Then current consumption. So the amount, whatever the consumption, whatever the money we receive, we can consume it now. So we can use it for the current periods. So there is an current consumption more. Then there is also a possibility of investment opportunity. So if we invest now, whatever the money we receive now, if it is invested, so you can get more profit rather than investing for after 1 year or after some years of time or after few years of time. So because of the present potential of investment opportunities or the alternatives which are available in the market, so that is more preferred. So these are all the various rationale for time preference for money. So people prefer to receive money currently rather than waiting for future periods. So that is the rationale behind the time preference for money. Basically, there are two important techniques for measuring the time value of money. So these techniques, or they are called as time adjusting techniques, or they are called as simply techniques of time value of money. So there are two techniques for adjusting the time value for money. So namely, the first one is called as compounding technique, the second one is called as discounting technique. Compounding technique is basically used to determine the future value of the present money. So compounding technique is used to know what is the future value of our present money. So if you are holding 100 rupees today, so if you want to know what is the value of that money after 5 years, depending on some percentage of interest, so we have to determine at what rate of interest we are expecting the return. So if we are clear with what is our interest percentage and what is our time, so interest is measured in, that is the alphabet which is used for expressing interest is I. So I stands for interest, and the period of time is measured in terms of n, that is small n. So I is for interest and n is going to be for time periods. So depending on what is your time and at what interest rate you are expecting your future value of money. So if you want to know the future value of your present money, then we have to use this compounding technique. So compounding technique is used to understand the future value of your present money. The second technique is called as discounting technique, where it is used to determine what is the present value of your future money. So if you want to know what is the present value of the money which you are going to receive in future, so for which we have to use the discounting technique, that is we have to come backward, that is we have to use a reversing technique. So that's why it is also called as discounting technique. In compounding technique, the future value of money will be more, whereas in discounting technique the present value of the money will be less, because the amount is discounted and accordingly we will be able to know what is the present value of your money. So basically these are the two important techniques which are used for measuring the time value of money. So we will discuss about each technique in detail. So the first one is compounding technique. Now in case of compounding technique, basically the present value of the money will grow. So in compounding technique the money will grow, the money will multiply. So the money will multiply because interest is also included in the actual amount. So this compounding is done basically using simple interest technique. So there is a simple interest and the second one is called as compound interest. So basically in simple interest, so that is compounding is nothing but the money will grow, the money will become, money will multiply, because to the original principal amount even interest is also included, interest also get added to the principal amount. So accordingly the amount will become, it will compound, it will grow. So the simple interest is nothing but the interest paid on original amount or principal amount. So simple interest is calculated by using the formula. So principal amount, the PO, that is the original amount. So in the initial year, now if you are investing some money, so as I told you just now, I stands for interest rate per annum and N stands for number of years for which the interest has to be calculated. So simple interest is equal to the principal amount multiplied by interest for so many number of years. So if an investor wants to know what is his total future value of the money at the end of some number of years, say for example after 5 years, so the future value is the sum of accumulated interest. So the interest will get accumulated for all the 4 years along with the principal amount, and accordingly the amount will grow and the amount will become compounded. The amount will be compounded by using the simple interest technique. So the future value of your money, so FN, F stands for future value at whichever year you are desirable. If you want to know the value of your money after 5 years, so N here is equal to 5. So FV5 is equal to PO stands for principal amount plus principal amount will grow along with the interest for 5 years. Okay, so or a simple interest divided by that is equal to PO. So that is my simple interest will be nothing but which will get accumulated, it will get added. So plus simple interest plus your principal amount together, it will get added, and accordingly you will be able to know what is your future value of your money. So future value of money can be computed by using the compounding technique, so that is by calculating simple interest. Then what is compound interest? So the interest that is earned on a given amount or on a given sum and has become part of the principal at the end of a specific period. Now in case of compound interest, so in the first year whatever the interest is added to the principal amount together, that will grow again, and on that total amount again interest is calculated. So like that the amount gets added up and that interest is called as compound interest. So that is symbolical if you want to express what is the how to calculate compound interest. So future value of your money at n number of years is equal to V0, that is, or P0, you can call it in any manner. P0 or V0 means the principal amount multiplied by 1 plus I to the power of n. So 1 plus I stands for interest per annum and n stands for number of years. So where future value of your money for n number of years is equal to principal amount multiplied by 1 plus I, interest percentage for per annum to the power of n. N stands for number of years. So to give a small example, so this example will show you how the future value of money is calculated, that how compound interest is included in the future value of your money. So for example, calculate the future value of rupees 20,000 invested now, that is currently. So our V0 or our P0 is 20,000 for a period of 5 years at a time preference rate of 8%. So here 8% is the interest percentage per annum. So using the above formula, if you substitute this information in the above formula, you will know what is the future value of this 20,000 rupees which we are going to receive after 5 years at 8% rate of interest. So FV5, so here n is equal to 5 years. So V5, FV5, future value of your 20,000 after 5 years is equal to 20,000 into 1 plus interest is 8%. So 8% is 0.08. So 8% means 8 by 100. So 8 by 100 is expressed as 0.08 to the power of 5. So here n is equal to 5. So if you simplify this, so 20,000 multiplied by 1.08 to the power of 5. So if you multiply 1.08 into 5 times into by multiplied it again by 20,000, so your future value of your 20,000 will become 29,380. So that is 20,000 will be compounded, the 20,000 will grow at 8% rate of interest, and by the end of 5 years it will become 29,380. So this is how the future value of your money is calculated by using the compounding technique. So compounding technique is used to know what is the future value of your money. So if it is only for 1 year, then it is called as simple interest. If it is more than 1 year, then the interest also will get multiplied, and accordingly it is called as compound interest. So that is the meaning of compounding technique, compounding using simple interest and compound interest. Now this compounding technique, as n becomes larger, so if the calculation is only for very less number of years, maybe less than 5 years, then we can use that formula to calculate the future value of your money. But as n becomes larger, if you want to find out what is the value of your future value of your money after 15 years, after 20 years, after 25 years, then the calculations becomes very hectic and it becomes very tedious. So in that situation, we cannot calculate 1 plus I to the power of n, becomes very difficult. So an alternate for this is, such calculations can be made with the help of certain compound factor tables. So all of you must be given the study material of financial management. So students, if you refer at the back, there are certain factors, there are certain tables which are there. So these tables are basically compound factor tables which are expressed in different annexures. That is at the back, in the annexures you have the tables, table A, table B, like that. So these compound factor tables, that means these are certain tables where the table values are given. So depending on our I, so I and N, so if we know these two things, we can refer to these compound factor tables, and these tables can be used for calculating the future value of your money when your N is very fairly large. So these tables are available at the end of your financial management textbooks, that is your study material, as annexures. So you can refer to them and you can readily pick the table values from there, and you can use these tables for calculating the future value of your money. So how to use these compound factor tables? So using these compound factor tables also we can find out the future value of money. So it can be calculated by using the following formula. So future value of your money, where n is equal to number of years, will be equal to V0, that is the principal amount, multiplied by compound factor tables. So there are different types of tables. We have compound factor tables, we have annuity compound factor tables, we have discount factor tables, annuity discount factor tables. So like that 4 sets of tables are available. Now for this future value of your money, we have to refer to compound factor tables. So compound factor is abbreviated as CF. So C stands for compound, F stands for factor. So compound factor tables. So future value of your money at n number of years is equal to V0 stands for the principal amount multiplied by compound factor tables, and it has to be referred by referring to what is our interest percentage and what are the number of years. So basically these tables are given in such a way that the tables are given vertically, they are all mentioned in terms of the number of years. So n is given vertically, and horizontally we are being given the interest percentage starting from 1% to, so 1%, 2%, 3%, like the different interest percentages are given. So and vertically we are being given the number of years starting from first year till 20 years, 30 years, 50 years. So like that the number of years are given. So whenever we are referring to these compound factor tables, we have to know which interest percentage and which number of years, for how many number of years, and we have to pick up the table value and multiply with the principal amount. That will give you the future value of your money. Now to give an example, look at this example. Miss Sudha deposited 50,000 in a bank for 3 years, assuming 8% interest rate. So compute the future value of that 50,000 using compound factor table. So as I just now showed you this above example, so the above formula, so she want to know what is the future value of a 50,000 after 3 years. So FV3 is equal to, so 3 here stands for third year, is equal to principal amount is 50,000 multiplied by, we have to refer to the compound factor tables at 8% rate of interest in the third year. So that table value is 1.260. So that multiplied 50,000, that will give you the future value of that 50,000 at the end of 3 years. It will become 63,000 with 8% rate of interest. So this is how we can calculate the compound value, that is the future value of your money, by using this compound factor tables. Now sometimes in case of certain types of investments, compounding is not done once in a year, that is they don't do it once in a year. Normally compounding is done, compounding is nothing but how many times they calculate interest. So normally interest is calculated once in a year, but in case of certain types of investment like banks normally do compounding multiple number of times. They can do it quarterly basis, yearly basis, then half yearly basis, monthly basis. So like that there are 4 types of multiple compounding. So multiple compounding is done on yearly basis, quarterly basis. So if you want to know what is the future value of your money when compounding is done more number of times, then we have to use this formula. Future value of your money at whichever period is equal to the principal amount multiplied by 1 plus I divided by m. Here m stands for how many number of times compounding is done. So if compounding is done quarterly, that means 4 times in a year. If it is done monthly, that means 12 times in a year. So here m stands for number of times the compounding is done. So by using that formula, you can calculate what is the future value of your money. And remember, the future value of your money will be more when compounding is done more than once. And this is an example of multiple compounding periods, if compounding is done multiple times. Sometimes instead of investing only once in a year, sometimes some people also invest money at different points of time, at the end of first year, second year, third year, fourth year, fifth year, like that. If they invest 5 times, 5 years, for 5 years, and at the end of 5th year, if you want to know what is the future value of your money, so you can use this formula to know what is the future value of your money by using this formula, or otherwise alternatively we can also refer to annuity compound factor tables. So annuity stands for when the amount of investment is done annually and same amount is invested. So if that is every year you invest only 10,000, for 5 years it will become 50,000, and if you want to know what is the future value of that 50,000 at whatever the rate of interest, then we can use by referring to even annuity compound factor tables also we can refer, and accordingly we can find out what is the future value of your money. So you have to refer to annuity factor tables, annuity compound factor tables if the payments are more than one, that is if the payments are done, those are called a series of cash flows or series of payments are done. Then sometimes we are interested in knowing about how much time does it take to double your money. So how much time does it take to so that our amount will become double. So that is called as doubling period. So that doubling period, usually they use 2 different rules of thumb. One is called as rule of 72 and rule of 69. So rule of 72 is equal to 72 divided by rate of interest, at whatever rate we are getting interest. or rule 69 is equal to 0.35 plus 69 divided by rate of interest. So whatever may be our rate of interest, accordingly if you divide by that, then you will be knowing how much time does it take so that our amount will become double. So that is called as doubling period. Then coming to the second important technique of time value of money is called as present value technique. Now in compounding technique we are finding the future value of money, whereas in present value technique we are going to find out what is the present value of your future money. So present value shows what is the value today of some future value of your money. So for which we are going to use the formula present value of your money is equal to future value of your money divided by 1 plus I. I stands for interest and N stands for your number of years. So we can use this formula, or alternatively we can also refer to present value discount factor tables, and also we can find out what is the present value of your money. So present value of your money is equal to future value multiplied by discount factor at so and so interest, whatever may be the interest percentage, and the number of years. So that will give you what is the present value of your money. Then present value of money can also be found out when there are certain series of cash flows. If the cash flows are uneven, uneven is nothing but where your cash flows are 1 year you are investing 10,000, second year investing 15,000, third year you are investing some 30,000, like that. If the cash flows are uneven, then this is a formula we are going to use it for calculating the present value of those uneven cash flows. So the present value of your money is equal to cash inflows in the first year divided by 1 plus I to the power of first year. Then CIF, that is cash inflows in the second year divided by 1 plus I to the power of second year. So like that for 5 years. So we have to use this formula. So total it up, that will give you the present value of your money where the cash flows are uneven. Uneven means different amounts we are investing. We can also calculate the present value of even cash flows. Even cash flows, that means where the investment amount are even. So every year investing same amount. Then we can use the same formula again. You can also alternatively we can also refer to annuity discount factor tables. So where we are going to multiply our annuity, that is every year similar cash inflows, we are going to multiply with the present value of your inflow, present value at so and so discount factor and at so many number of years. So if you multiply that, that will give you what is the present value of your even cash flows. So we can refer to annuity discount factor tables. Now this is an example of what is the present value of your even cash flows. So Mr. Sharma has to receive 20,000 per year for 5 years. That means he is going to receive every year same amount 20,000 for 5 years. So calculate the present value of annuity. Annuity is nothing but whatever the amount we are investing, similar amount we call it as annuity. So by using the formula method we can calculate it. You will get 75,820. So after 5 years you will be getting 1 lakh. What is the value of that 1 lakh as of now? It is 75,820. Or by referring to annuity discount factor tables also, we can calculate the present value of that 20,000 which we are going to receive over a period of 5 years. So that value is, so the principal, that is the future value of your money multiplied by your present value, annuity present value discount factor at that rate of interest and at that number of years. So the present value factor, that is a table value multiplied by 20,000, that will give you what is the present value of your annuity, that is what is the present value of your 20,000 as of now. Now this time value of money is very much useful for solving different types of problems. So basically there are different types of problems which are faced with the financial manager, so for which they can use this time value of money. So applications of time value of money include sinking fund problems. Sinking fund problems is nothing but sometimes they want to, the financial manager want to purchase an asset over a period of time after 5 years. So he want to know from now itself only how much amount he has to invest, how much amount annual payment if he is going to do every year, so that that amount will get accumulated and then lump sum amount is available in the future period at the future date, so that he can use that money for purchasing that fixed asset. So such type of problems are called as sinking fund problems. So such problems can be solved by using the compounding factor technique. So here Vn is equal to, that is your R is nothing but your annual payment, how much amount you want to pay every year. So that multiplied by your annuity compound factor table, so that will give you, that will solve you, that will give you annually how much investment you have to make, so that the amount will get accumulated and it will become a lump sum amount, so that you can purchase your fixed assets. So these are called as sinking fund problems. Then it can also be used for loan amortization, that is for repayment of your loans. So how much installments you have to pay every year so that your loan can be repaid. So those are loan amortization problems, which can also be solved with the help of annuity discount factor tables. Then compound growth rate problems. So usually if you want to know how much is your growth rate, how much your sales are growing, what is your compound growth rate with respect to profit, sales turnover, then we can refer to compound growth rate problems, that is annuity compound factor tables we can refer, and we can find out how much is the compound growth rate. Then sometimes interest rate problems. Sometimes we will get different types of opportunities or offers from the different types of financial companies, financial management companies or finance companies, that they will be offering some money, but we want to know what is the interest in which is included in that offer. So for such type of problems we can refer to annuity compound factor tables. Then finally we can also use this time value of money technique even for valuation of debentures. So debentures are issued for a longer period where interest is paid. So you can find out what is the how much cash flows from a debenture is basically divided into two parts. So you can find out the present value of interest by referring to the tables, and also the principal amount by referring to the tables, and you can add interest amount and principal amount, and we can find out what is the present value of those debentures. So that application is called as valuation of debentures. So these are all the various applications of time value of money. So time value technique is very important, and almost all types of decisions are governed by this time value technique, and we have to understand how to use these techniques. And this class session is about what are the two techniques of time value of money, that is the compounding technique and that of the discounting technique. Thank you all.